Hello, home buyers, home sellers. This is Realtor TV at RealtorCT.com. I'm Mike Ortiz. I am your host. Before we get started, I just wanted to take one quick second to thank everyone that tuned in last week. Over 2,000 viewers. 2,000. I think that's almost Kardashian status. Keep it going. Don't forget to subscribe. You'll get automatic updates as I upload our new episode every Tuesday, okay? Today we'll be talking to buyers. I'm going to give you 5 secret techniques to win these bidding wars. But first, let's talk about a few topics that you need to know before we go on to the actual meat and potatoes. Why are there bidding wars right now? Well, way back during COVID, for some reason, and the reason is known, but it's best kept for a whole nother video. But home sales rocketed. People wanted to get new homes, bigger spaces, work at home, whatever. And the inventory started to drop. As the inventory started to drop, well, buyers were willing to pay more, so they were willing to get into bidding wars. This wasn't the cause of sellers being greedy, realtors, government, as some people may think. This was all buyers because they were willing to pay more to get what they wanted. Number 2, will things change soon? It does seem as though things are taking a turn, but until we get a bunch of new construction going, everywhere you go you see new houses being built, it's still going to stay steady with this low inventory and be relatively the same. And number 3, should you buy in this market? Well, the answer to that is twofold, yes and no. It'll depend on your financial situation. It'll depend on if you are willing to be a part of bidding wars, and it'll be depending on how bad you need a home at the time. It is still a good time to buy. You just have to do a few things and understand a few things, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about here. So let's start. Number 1, you have to live in the mental and financial reality of what the market is doing. So you have to be prepared to make some major concessions first. You have to understand you may not be able to get everything you want in this market for the price that you can pay. Also, realize that real estate is an investment. So you may not be in the exact position you want to be in right now, but in months, years, there are so many options. Refinancing, selling, renting, whatever. But think of it as an investment. And this is the tricky part right here. In order to get into a bidding war, you have to understand that a bidding war means it's going over listing price. So if you have a certain amount for pre-approval, you have to be shopping at a level $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 less than what you're pre-approval for, because you have to give yourself some room to bid. You have to give yourself some room to have a competitive offer, okay? And the last one right here, number 1 for me, you have to realize we are actually working in your best interest. So unless you have a realtor that is in some sort of dual agency agreement, you should really take their advice, because the only way they are successful is by 100% standing by your best interests, okay? So listen to what they say and take their advice. And this little bit of knowledge for tip number 1, winning bidding wars starts with knowing what you can actually accomplish versus what you just want to accomplish, right? Living in reality. Number 2, be first, avoid crowds. A lot of people like to go to open houses, and they like to do showings on the weekends. And I will tell you, this creates a sense of urgency that's unneeded, because instead of doing that, why not be the person that's going to the listing during the week when it first comes on the market and putting in that first offer and catching some of those sellers that are just looking for the first offer. People don't understand that some sellers, not many, but some, are just looking for the first offer. So why not put yourself into a place where you might actually get the home just based on putting in the first offer, right? And also, when you are setting up home searches and you have automatic updates, look for a coming soon box somewhere. It'll add listings that are coming soon. You will be able to to follow those, and you'll be able to request showings before anybody else. You'll be able to get in. You'll be able to put in an offer. So again, be a proactive shopper. You got to make decisive moves, and you got to make them quickly, and you got to make them before the rest of the market jumps in, and that's usually the weekend, to be honest. This one, simple, not too complicated, not too much to talk about, but this is important because people sometimes, when they have a certain loan, they don't understand the level that it's at, and they don't understand that they have to kind of adjust their offer to make it more competitive depending on what they have for financing. So sellers always want the most complication-free transaction, obviously, the quickest as well. So when you're putting in an offer, obviously cash is king. You have cash, you can do other things. You can ask for other things. Next on the line is conventional financing. For me, my opinion, you can do some research. Conventional financing is almost as good as cash. I don't have many of those fall through, don't have many problems, don't have many inspection requirements. Conventional financing is pretty much decent. VA loans, FHA loans, they're government backed in some way. So government backed loans are the ones that have a lot of restrictions, sometimes a lot of inspection requirements. For instance, FHA, you can't even have peeling paint. So even peeling paint will, cause you to fail the inspection. So when sellers see that, they see potential problems. Doesn't mean there are guaranteed problems, but they are going to prefer the cash or conventional financing over the government. Simple as that. So just know what you have for funding and know its level of preference and adjust your bid or adjust your offer accordingly. Know your leverage. Okay? Number 4. This one will probably get most of you guys a little bit skeptical, right? Especially first-time home buyers. But hear me out, okay? In this market, no offers are being even really considered unless you're waiving inspection and you don't have any contingencies on there, right? Sellers want an easy, complication-free transaction. This is the second time I said that, right? So you got to make it as easy and as complication-free as possible. So most offers are not, most sellers are not taking offers that require big inspection contingencies, right? Now, this doesn't mean you have to buy a house that has a cracked foundation. What this means is you're going to still inspect, but you're going to put into the offer that your inspection is for your informational purposes only. Now, if something big comes up that just doesn't fit or doesn't work for you, or especially if you have government-backed financing that it won't pass, you do still have the ability to pull out. The difference is, in a contingency transaction, the sellers may actually have to fix it to close. In this situation, no one's fixing anything, but you're just going to pull out if you find anything, right? Also, contingencies like closing costs or appraisal riders, those are going to get less interest. You have to do what's in your best interest, but just remember, those kind of contingencies are kind of a big red flag and will get your offer possibly pushed to the other side, okay? And I like this right here. Use all your ammo. You have to be careful with gun talk, but use all your perpetual ammo to compete with those other offers that are coming in, okay? And the last one. You may discount this one a little bit, but I'm telling you, this I've seen this make or break an offer. Many times. And when people send me offers on houses, it can make or break the offer as well. Include the deposit with your offer. Most of the time, we do promise the deposit, but include a picture of the check so they see that you're serious. Take a picture or a scan, send it to your realtor so that we can include it with your offer and your deposit. We have a kind of a scale we go through. It has to be at least $5,000 for most homes, but do as much as you comfortably can. The higher the deposit, the more serious the buyer will take you, okay? Offers with deposit checks attached to them are about 40% more likely to be accepted. or at least be taken more seriously. And that's what you want. So, in summary, this week, talk to buyers. 5 quick tips to winning bidding wars. 1, be mentally and financially realistic. Number 2, be first. Avoid crowds. Number 3, know what sellers prefer for funding. Number 4, avoid contingencies. Waive inspection. Okay. Number 5, include a deposit with your offer. Next week, we'll be talking to sellers, and I want to talk about inflation and how it actually can increase the value of your home. So you really need to tune in, subscribe, and we will see you next week.